Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. So today we'll be building our final project. Yay! Okay, and the title will be creating a family website. Okay, title of today's project is family website. Now, our goals include create a complete multi-page website. We'll design an engaging homepage. We'll create individual profile pages for family members, and we'll apply all the skills we've learned. Then we'll share our family story online. We'll build a homepage with family photos and introduction. Then we'll do the navigation menu for all pages. Then individual profile pages for each family. Okay? And then family activities or interest page. Now planning our website. I'm sure that the previous class I taught you about web design and everything that comes with actually building a website. And I told you that you have to just imagine in your head that this is what you want your website to look like. Okay? You have to have it at the back of your mind that this is it. I'm going to have this here, I'm going to have that here. If possible, sketch it out. Okay, nobody's going to beat you for doing that. Sketch out how you want your website to look and try as much as possible to bring that to life, okay, by designing it. So what we'll do is we'll gather content first. Make sure you have photos already and enough information. Okay, plan the pages, the sketch layouts, then you create the HTML structure. What else do? You use the CSS. This is where the CSS comes in. You decorate your home. And how do you do this? You use the CSS styles, you beautify it, you add color, you change the font family, font style, anything you want to do with that website. This is the time you do it because you've already created the structure. Now, after doing that, what do? You test and then you improve on it. You ask people to check it out for you and then you do better. Now the website structure should have, when I say structure, I'm not talking about the HTML structures, I'm talking about the pages. Okay, first of all, you should have your index of HTML, which is the home page, and you should have pages for the family members. You should talk about your mom, let's say mom.html, your dad.html, because you're creating pages, right? HTML pages. Now you can also talk about your sister.html, your brother.html, your pets if you want to, pets.html, and even your aunt Teresa.html. Anything you want to do with that, you can do that, absolutely. And the next one is gathering content. Okay, what you will need is you'll need family photos. This is the part where you get everything you'll be needing for this design. You'll be needing a lot of photos because definitely you need to present your members, your family members. You mustn't use their main picture, okay? You mustn't use your family's picture. You can just get any picture and just claim like you're creating a family website. But I would advise to use a picture since you will not be hosting that. It will be in your file just for if you want to feel good about what you've achieved this period. You can always go to your file and view the website you created. Okay, now you should have individual photos of your family members if you want to add them. Then short descriptions should be there, and family activities or interests. Now the next thing is to sketch your layout. You should draw a simple sketch. You can do that. Nobody will hurt you, nobody will beat you for doing that. It just helps you out. You want your navigation bar to go this way, you want it to go sideways, anyhow you want it to be. You sketch it out. You can just write a little text that says your navigation. You can decide to have the hero page. What is the hero page? That's the first thing that people see after. It's always below the navigation bar. It's always below it. After your navigation bar, the next thing is always the hero page where you have the title, sometimes a big title and an image most of the time before other content starts coming in. You can have that. Just structure, sketch it layout however you want to have it. And then you can also include text and images inside your sketch. And then the home page design, there are key elements. They include the header with website title, the family photo, a welcome message, brief family introduction, navigation to other pages, then footer with copyright. The next thing to note is profile page design. And there are key elements which include the photo of your family member, the one you want to design there, the name and role in family, the about section where you talk about their age, their personality, their favorites, okay, their favorite food, color, hobby, and all fun facts about this particular member of your family that you're designing that page for. Then navigation back to home page, okay? When you're creating a navigation or when you're creating a page, there should always be room for your users to find their way back to the previous page or to the next, okay? And then the activities page design should contain something like the family activities, photos of your activities, and then descriptions of what you do together, family traditions if you want to, favorite places to visit, navigation to homepage as well. And then creating the basic HTML structure. And this juncture right now, we have to move straight to the VS Code, where we'll break down everything step by step. So you already know how your HTML structure looks like, where it starts with the doc type, HTML head, inside the head, the title, the body, and this is where the content goes inside, and then the HTML that closes everything up. We'll create that structure, and then first of all, we'll create a navigation bar, and it will have a header. What do I mean by the header? It will have the title and the logo. We've already created a navigation bar before. I'm sure that will not be an issue right now. So we'll go straight to doing that, to start creating a navigation bar ASAP. So I'm back to my VS Code, and the first thing I want to do is to create a file that I will call, okay, first of all, instead of doing this, I think we should create a new folder, okay? So just quickly go to your desktop and create a folder that you will call, since we are creating a new file now, we're creating a new web page, we don't need to keep disturbing the old one we have. You create a folder called family. I think I saved this. Rename it. I'll rename this. I'll call it family website. Good. So now I have this folder, and I will go open it up. I taught you how to open up a new folder, right? So I'm here in my family website, right click, and I will look for a way to open it using my VS Code. Open with code. Now my folder is open and it is empty at this point. So the first thing I want to do is to create my index.html, which will be the home page. And here I create my structure. What else? What should be in here? My family, my beautiful family, okay? My beautiful family. Let's start with a capital letter. My beautiful family should be our title. And then inside, this is the part where I create my navigation bar, and I should start with what? The header tag. I'm sure that at this point you're meant to be following with me because we've done this before. But this part, I don't think you've done it, so I'll show you. First of all, I'll be creating a div. I'll be creating two divs actually, because I want to use that display property I taught you, which is flex. I'll be using it a whole lot in this class, so be attentive to know where and why I used it. And I already told you, when you're creating a flex, you has to be the content you want to flex should be inside a box. That means inside a container. In this case, the container you want to use can be anything, can be a div, can be, now we already have a container which is the header, and it's looking at us here, and then we'll have to add our content inside, the content we want to flex. Now I taught you something about children, so that's what we're adding the children of the header. Okay, anything that is inside a tag, in between the tag, and it is an element, is the child of that thing covering it up. No, this is not what I want to write. I'm writing H2. Or first of all, I'll add an image because I want it to have a logo. Okay, I'll add an image. But then, what image do I want to add when my folder is empty? That is planning. Now you have to go back to the file explorer. First of all, I have a folder where my images are, and this is it right here. I've already stored images that I'll be using for this website here, so I'll just copy it, go into this particular folder, which is my family website, and I'll paste it there. Let's see, I have pasted it, and now in my VS Code, my folder is here, and it is filled with the images that I added inside myself. Good. I've already taught you how to do stuff like this. So this is the image, this is the H2, and the H2 will be my family. My family, and then the image should be, let me make my choice first. Okay, let's look at this. I like how the image is looking. I'm not using my own family, that's why I told you it's not compulsory. Now I'll call my folder, and the folder name is Farm Images, and now it's giving me suggestions of the image to pick. Now let me look for the one I want. I'll use this, nothing like a solid family foundation. I like this one, and then let me see what it looks like. Don't be shocked, it will be looking too big at this point, but it's not an issue. We will always figure out how to make our website look nice. What we are doing is just creating a structure. Now this is looking too big for a logo. We don't want a logo that will be looking this large. Nobody wants that. So let's go back and see what we can do about it. But before then, I already have my title and my image, which will be my logo. I have not styled it yet. Now what I want to do is I now want to start creating my nav. What we are doing is just creating structures. We'll definitely style it. Now create my navigation bar. And how do you do that? Using the nav and then the list. Inside the list, you need your another list, the UL, and then the list. Inside the list, that's where your A tag comes in, because we want to add pages. And I told you what the href does. This is how you link either an external website or you link the pages you have already. Now I need it in here because I want people to be able to click and go back to different pages of the web page, right? Good. So now what I'll do is I'll just duplicate this, copy and paste. Depending on how many pages you want to create, I have 5 here. Let's see how it goes. And then the next thing to do is, let's see how this is looking like at this point. No, first of all, let's give it the names we saw earlier. I will say brother. Or let's start with dad. I'm not creating the pages yet, mind you. I'm just writing the text that will show in our on our navigation bar. The other one should be mom. The next one will be brother. You have sister, then maybe me. Good. So this is it. Let's see what it looks like at this point. Let's see what it looks like at this point. Is it out here? Let me go back. Okay, now it's here. Now it's here and it's out like a list, like it should, because what we use is the UL, another list. But don't worry, we'll always know how to get rid of this. So when you start creating yours and it's looking like this, don't be shocked. Don't be shocked. That's why your CSS is there for you, because you can always restyle it. Now that we have the structure already, what I will do is this. I will go and get rid of this. What I'll do is, let's open a CSS tag. We can actually decide to, in this case, since I have multiple pages that will be making use of some of the styles I have, I will be creating a CSS external file, the CSS. And now how do you add it? Okay, here I will link it in the head, and I'll say link style.what.css. Done. So I have linked this, my index.html, to this style.css that I created here. Now the next thing to do is to now do the styling. And what I want to style is, first of all, I want to style this image. I either give it an image name, or let me give this my class a name. Let's call it the logo. Let's leave it as logo. Okay. And now if I want to style this logo, what do? I come here and I start with what? Logo. But then logo is not the only thing I want to style. I don't just want to style the div there. I want to style specific things in the logo. And if you want to call something, let's say you have, I taught you something about, let me get rid of this one. I taught you something about parent and child. And now, like I taught you, I said this is the parent of this whole thing here because it is inside it. You notice this is the opening tag and this is the closing, right? So everything here is inside it, and that's the child of this nav here. Also, this UL has something inside it, which is the LI, and that makes it what? A parent as well. While these are the children, the child elements, okay? Now, the LI also has something inside it, making it what? A parent. It keeps going and going and going. So now, in a situation where I have a class name already, and I want to add another, I don't want to add another class name to this, because right here in this div, you can see that this div is shielding the img and the h2, which means the div is the parent of the img and the h2, right? So now in this case, what we'll do is, if you want to call this image now, you don't want to just say image. You just want to say that image inside the logo. We've already given the div a class. You want to now call the image inside that logo. What do you say? You say .logo img. Just call the tag name. It will say, it will tell the VS Code that in this logo, in this div, get me the child named img. Okay? And you do your styling. You don't always need to add class names. You can. But then these are just other ways you can always do this. So now here, instead of just saying only logo, because what I want to style is the image, right? And because I know I'll be adding more images, I don't want to use the general image tag. So I don't give all of them one style. So I'll say .logo img, and I'll say this. I'll start styling it. I'll say width. Let's make the width 100 pixels, and height as well. Let's make it 100 pixels. Let's see how it will be looking at this point. Now, mind you, what I'm styling is the image. But the fact that I call the div and then the image, it's telling you that it's targeting just this image here. I didn't add a comma. I'm not styling two things at once. I'm just saying call this one, style the image for me, the image inside the logo called this. Good. Now let's see what it looks like. It's small but not too small. I want it smaller. I want my logo to be smaller. I will reduce it to, let's say, 50 or 40 pixels, and height, I'll make it the same thing, a height of 40 pixels. Now let's see if it's suitable. It has reduced. I like it this way. Now the next thing is to give it a border radius. I taught you how to add a border radius. I'll give it a border radius of 50%. And what did I tell you about 50%? It makes it what? Rounded. Let's see if it will affect it. I don't think I targeted the right thing. Border. Okay, I just wrote border. There's nothing like border 50%. Border radius. So this is exactly how you'll be getting a little bit frustrated when you you can see that the image is now round, looking more like a logo at this point. So the next thing I want to do is to have my text right next to it. And then this nav should also go somewhere, maybe the middle or the end. So let's see how we'll do that. Now the next thing I want to do is this. I'll go to this place. I'll go back to the HTML structure. And I'll say, now I'm trying to target my header. I will display everything inside this header as flex. And the two children the header has is what? This one element here, div, and then another element, what? Nav. Forget the children inside. It belongs to UL, it belongs to nav. But the direct children of the header are just two elements at this point for now, which are the div and the nav. Forget that they have children inside of them. These are the children of the header. So if we use header and set it as flex, what will be affected is just the two children it has. Now we'll do that right now, and since we will not be using header twice, we can always call it and style it without affecting something else. What we'll do is display flex. I have displayed it as flex. Now it has flexed already. Okay, even though it is not flexing the way you want it to. But now I want to give it space while I work on it little by little. So what I will do at this point is I will say justify content, space between, and let's see. Now the nav has gone to this end while the header stays where it is. Okay. The next thing I will do is I will now target each of them. Now I told you something about flex working only for the children, right? Now the UL here has children, and the children include what? LI. So if I set UL as display flex, definitely it will display this as flex. Okay, it will display the LI as flex. All the LI here will keep going in the row direction. And if I display this div as flex, the div has two children inside. I told you it works with parents. No matter how many times it has entered a tag, as long as there's something shielding something, there's an element with elements inside of it. The elements inside of it are the children of that thing covering it. Okay? Now in this case, the children that the div has are 2. And the children that the UL has are what? 5. While the header has what? 2 children, 1 and 2. And the children gave birth to how many? Each of them had 1. The first one had 2, while the other one had what? Had 1. Nav has 1 child, while the child of Nav still has children. So this is how it works. So now for you to flex something, you know that it has to be inside a container. So for us to flex this div, we'll say the logo, we'll set the logo and display it as flex. Okay? Now go back so we don't keep wasting time and going back and forth. I'll be calling logo now, not logo img. I'll say .logo, which is the class name I gave that div. And I'll say display what? Flex. Let's see. Now it has displayed flex, which is just the children that is displayed as flex. We'll say justify content, justify content. Let's say center. Let's see. Okay. The next thing is align items center as well. Let's see what it looks like at this point. Now it's getting aligned. But one thing I don't want is the extra space it's giving me. But don't worry, we'll get rid of it. I don't want to have any extra space, just like how we got rid of the extra space we had when we were creating the normal nav bar that doesn't have the header right next to it. I will do that later, but for now, what I want to do is I want to add a little bit of gap between the image and the text. So I'll say gap. You know that it comes with flex, right? I'll give it a gap of 4 pixels. Let's see if it's still clustered. Okay, it has a little gap now and I like it. The next thing I want to flex is this. My nav should not be looking like this. I don't want it this way. I want it aligned as a row. So the next thing we'll be targeting is how we can make it flex. And how do you think we can make it flex? By targeting the UL. I can either call it UL, display it as flex, but I don't know if I'll be using another list. So I don't want to give it a general styling. So I'll just give it a specific name so I don't mess up the rest of the code if I decide to add a UL to it. Now I'll give it a name of nav UL, just to know that it's the UL of nav. And then I will copy the name exactly as it is here. Go back to my code. Do what? Dot the nav UL. And I'll say display what? Flex. Let's see if it will look at us at all. Now it has displayed as flex. Amazing, right? Good. Let's see if we can get rid of the list style. None. Let's see. Now the list style is out. We also need to get rid of the underlines. We can also give a gap. Let's first of all justify content since it's a flex. Justify content, center, align items, center still. Good. Now to the header, let's not forget to align everything to the center. Good. And let's see what it looks like at this point. It's looking this way. Okay. Now what I want to do is to get rid of this line here. And what do you think gives that line? It is the A tag that we added inside. It always comes with an underline and you can always get rid of it by using the text decoration of none. I taught you that before. I hope you've not forgotten. So I will look for a way to target the A. So where is our A? It's here. Now what can I do? I can decide to say the nav UL that has UL and then A. But then that would be too much for you. So I might just decide to give each of them a class name and get rid of it. Or just call the A. I want to just get rid of all the lines I need in the A. And it will solve my issue for me. I'll just say A, text decoration, none. Let's see. Now the underlines are off. The next thing I want to do is to give them a gap. I want them to breathe. I'll give them a gap. And the gap will be, okay, the gap will be in the UL here. Gap. I'll give each of them 10 pixels. Let's see if it's the way I want it to be. It's not much. I want it like, I just want them to breathe. I'll give it 20 pixels. Let's see. It's okay. Now let me increase the font size of my A. Font size. Let me give 30 pixels and see what it looks like. If it's not suitable, it's too much. Too much. Let's reduce it to 20 pixels and let's see. Not bad at this point. Now what I want to give a color is my header. I'll give my header. But first of all, I want to use something called a universal selector. If you want the entire page to have a certain style, there's something called a universal selector, and it is what nothing special, just the asterisk, and then you style that asterisk by opening a parenthesis. Now, for a universal selector, I want everything to not have a padding. I want to be able to add my padding myself and my margin myself, so that it doesn't create automatic margin and padding for me. Now let's see. So now you can see I removed the padding and margin, and my text has gone up. Now it doesn't even have any space around it, so I can decide to now give it the space I want to. But first of all, let me give my header a color. I'll give it a color of where is my header? Background. I'll give it a background color. Background color of what? Where am I? Background color of brown. Good. Let's see what it looks like. Now this is what it looks like at this point. But then my text is now too dark. I can't even see what I wrote here clearly. What do you think I should use? Definitely a lighter text, and I'll be using white. Let me change the color of my H2 to be what? White. Let's see if it will work here. Color as what? I don't think it will work though, but there's always trial and error, you know. It did. So my H2 is now white, and I like it. So the next thing I want to change the color is the navigation that I have here. I'll be changing the color of the A to what? White as well. I'll be changing the color to white. So here, let me see what it's looking like at this point. So now you can see that it's now what? It's white. I want to increase the font weight. I will increase the font weight to make it thicker. Font weight, I'll use what? 900. Let's see if it will make it thicker in any way. Okay, it's actually okay, it's good. Now I can decide to add padding to the left and right of my header. Okay, because the header is the container that I have, so that's where I'll be doing the padding. Padding left. I'll make it 5 pixels. Padding right. Let me edit this from left to right. Now it's okay. Added a little added a little padding for me, and I feel this is okay. You can actually increase it further if you want to. So the next thing I'll be doing now is to create what's the hero page, that first thing that people set their eyes on after creating the navigation bar. I'll be doing that now, and let me create it. I'll be going back to my HTML to create that thing, and outside here is where I'll create the main. I told you something about the main. This is me sectioning my website now, and what I want to have here is a div that has what? A text. I'll use H3 for my text, and my text can actually be welcome to our family website. We use exclamation, and here you can find information about us. Okay, our adventures as well. Like I said, you should have this drafted out already. Our adventures and our favorite favorite more memories or moments. Good. I think this is okay, even though it's actually looking big too much, but let me do this first. The next thing I want to add is an image next to my text. Okay, I'll be adding an image next, and we already know how to add an image, and it's with the tag. But first of all, let me go through the images I have and select the one I feel makes sense to me. Okay, I will be using this. I'll be using this image. Images. Okay, I'll be using it. You can change all these names, but I actually forgot to change your names to something shorter because this is already too long. So now we have the text and we have the image, and we also have it inside our div. That means we can be able to make it flex or do everything we want it to do. Okay, so now let's check out what it's looking like now. Look at it. It's coming out this way. The block. Here, this is an inline element, and this is a block. So now the P is already taking up the whole space, and I don't want that. I want this image smaller, and I want it to align. I want my text to come to the left side, while the image to the right and a little smaller. So I can always do that using what? My CSS. Let me cover this up. So the next thing I'll be styling now is I'll give my div. I'll give it a name first. Let me give it class. And it's my first word section. First section. So I will say this. I will go to the style.css and I'll say dot first section, but make sure it's the right name though. You can actually copy it so you don't make any mistake. That's first section, and I'll display it as what? Flex. I did this. Let me see. Now it has displayed as flex at this point. So what do I want to do? I want to reduce the size of this image. I'll reduce the size of the image and give it a background color. I'll reduce the size of... Okay, now I'll say dot first section. I am targeting the image. You already know how I did this. And I'll give it a width of 300 pixels and probably a height of the same 300 pixels. Let's see what we have here. It's rounded here. Let me increase it a little bit to 350 each. It's not rounded, it's still a square. And I'll still give my image a border radius. I think I want it round. I'll give a border radius of 50% still. And now let's see, I want it round, so it's now round. What I want to do at this point is to give it a background color. I'll give the main div a background color. Let's see the width we have that we are working with, and I'll be using the bisque. Let's see what it looks like. Let's see if it blends. Okay. Now what I want to do is to increase the height of my div. I want it bigger. I can do that using padding though, but I can actually do whatever I want. You can do whatever you want with yours, okay? I will increase the height to, let's say, 500 pixels. Let's just say. Okay, let's see. Now, something that we've not done in the flex, you can always justify content to the center, align items. Okay, align items center. Now it has come to the center. You see, everything is aligned properly. Now I want to increase the font size of my text. Let's see, so we'll be sure we're calling the right thing. I want to get the H3 inside the first section, which is this here. So I can do that by saying dot first section H3. H3, that means target the H3 inside the first section. Now I will give it a font size of let's say 50 pixels. That's too much, way too much. So I'll reduce this to 30 pixels. I'll reduce it to 30 pixels and see what it looks like. Okay, I think this is okay. Now what I want to do is to reduce the width. I'll reduce the width to something else. Let's say something like this. Width of that text should take up like 40%. Let's see how it will form. Take up 40% of that screen. It's not like I don't like it, but let's try and justify it to know if it will give me a little space because it's too clustered. And it gave me space, but the space is actually too much. So I'll get rid of this. So you can always try out whatever you want. I will reduce this to just 30% and see how much space it's taking up. We'll make it 70. We'll reduce it to 60. Okay. So I think I like it this way, where it's saying that you should welcome to our family website. Here you can find information about our adventures and our favorite memories. I think I like it this way. I think it's okay this way, and you can use any color you want, any color you feel will be suitable. I can decide to change this now to blue. So any color I want. So it mustn't be this. So my navbar actually should have a padding. Yeah, it should have a top and bottom padding because I feel this is too tiny. Let me increase the top and the bottom. Okay, you can use the short code I taught you before, where you use just the padding and then the different numbers you add to it. But since I've already started by adding this one separately, so I don't confuse you, I am going to continue that way. 5 pixels as well. Let's see. Now it has a little bit of padding top and bottom. I think I like it this way. So the next thing I want to do is to add just a normal title here, where you can just say, I'm going back to my HTML structure. So as you can see, I am doing this step by step, one step at a time. I'll be using another H3 tag, and I'll say my beautiful family. My beautiful family, and the text will be here. So I can now do the styling myself, align it to the center and everything that you want it to look like. So because I have a lot of H3, I'll be adding a class name to this, and I'll say this is the section title, just any name that I feel that makes sense to you. I'll be using this here, and let me just copy it and paste it. Go back to my CSS and do what? Do the dot Control V, and I'll give it a font size of, let's say, 50 pixels. It's big enough, and I'll be using the color. I'll align its text aligned first to the center. You can see that it's now in the center. Next thing I want to do is I'll add a margin top so that it doesn't glue to the other section. I'll add a margin top of 20 pixels, so let's say 15 pixels. But before I go check it out, let me add a color, and the color can be brown. Good. So let's see how this is looking. Okay, it's coming up a little by little. It has a padding and it has this here. Now I can actually decide to do something. I want to create a little bit of card, image card that has maybe 3 of my, the entire family or something, and then some text right below it. Let's do this. Let me show you what I mean by this. Now I'll go back to the HTML and I'll be creating cards. Now, mind you, I want this to be in another what? Div. So this is my first section. Let me add comments so that you know what we are doing. First section. I've started another section here. Second. Okay. Second section. Now, in here, in the div, is where I want to add that. I'll be adding what? I'll be adding my image. First of all, it has to have like another div inside. Let me show you. It will have a div inside, and the div will have an image. And after the image, it should have what? It should have a text. Let's say H4. Okay, now the image, I can now decide the image I want to add there. Let's say, okay, I have certain images here. I will use this, maybe my brother. I didn't see. Okay. Now the name of that image is, I will do something, let's do that. Farms images, I will do good. And alt is brother, just in case the image doesn't appear. Don't forget to add your alternative. Let's see how it's looking at this point. It should be looking big, yes. So you have the image and you have your text in here. What I'll do is I'll resize it. I'll resize this particular div here by giving it a width class and style. Let me just do the inline style in here, or better still, let me just, yeah, I'll do the inline style in here. I'll say no, I'll give it a class. I'll give it a class name, brother family image, family card, because it's an image card, family card. And it will be, I'll just copy this name here, go to my style.css, Control V, and I'll give it a width of 400 pixels. Let's see. The div has a width. Now to target the image, let's say dot Control V, img. I will say width will be what? Let's try 100% first and see what it will look like. Now it's smaller. It's smaller and it's taking up 400% of the width. I'll reduce the height to something else. Let's reduce the height of my image to, let's say, 300 pixels. Let's see what it's going to look like. It might be big still. Let me increase it to 500 pixels. It's looking like this at this point. Let me reduce it more to 400. I've reduced it to 400. Now I have this. What do I want to do now? I want to now get the H4 and align it to the center. Align what? Text align. Text align center. I hope it moves. Okay, now it's in the center. Our border is in the center. But then what I want to do is I want to make it look like a card, an actual card. So I'll give it something called a style property called box shadow. And now I'll show you what it means. So still I'm targeting the family card and I'm giving it a box shadow of, let's say, it is always like, first you get numbers, first three numbers, and then a bracket that adds some shades to it. Okay, so I'll be using the first number. I'll be using is 0, 8 pixels, 16 pixels, and then I'll have the RGBA. I taught you this. The RGBA is where I'll make it 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, another 0, and then for opacity I'll be making it 0.15. Let's see what the card is looking like at this point. Now it's looking elevated. Can you see that it's looking like it's a little bit out of the screen? You can see that, right? Good. But if you can't see it, let me give it a background color so that it will pop at least. Background color of same base. Let's see if it will rhyme. Now you can see what I'm talking about. It's looking more like a card now. Now the next thing we want to do is to just duplicate this into like 3 places. Now let's do that. Since I've already styled one, I don't need to keep styling and styling each one. I just need to go here, copy this, Ctrl+C, paste it, and paste another one. I can now change the images to be something else. I'll change this to, let's see. Let's use this and see what that image is about. Okay. Okay, now I think I like this one this way. I'll also add another image here. Let's see if I can get another suitable image. Okay, now let me use this. Sync. Okay, another brother, maybe big brother or something. I'm just telling you how you can always style it the way you want. You can use your own images for this. Now at this point, I will make it what? I will display it. This is where the magic works. Second section, class. I'm giving this div a class name because this is what I'll be using to flex it, because it's the parent of the 3 divs I have here. Class, I'll give it a name of second section. Second section. Do I have anything else named section? Second section. Okay, there is nothing. And I'll copy it. Have I highlighted it? Wait, okay. I'm copying it at this point. I'll copy it, go back to my style, and then I will say the dots, Ctrl+V, and this is the point where I display this as what? Flex. Good. But before I go view it, let me just finish up. Align items, center, and justify content. Let's say center. Let's see. Now it's here and it has become a flex with still looking like a card. Let me add some gap. Let me add a gap to this thing and let the gap be 10 pixels or even 15 pixels if it will work, because I feel the width might be too much. Okay, I feel it's beautiful this way. I can give it a margin top so it stays away from this text here. So I will give it a margin top, which I'm targeting what? The family card, right? Or the second section is what I'm targeting because that's the main container for everything. I'll give it margin top of, let's say, 20 pixels. Let's see how far away to stay from the top. Let me increase it to 30 pixels. Just to breathe a little bit, and you have something like this. At this point, we can add a lot more. You can also decide to edit the text to be what, instead of my brother, since the last image is about the dad and kids, dad and siblings. Okay, let's see. So I've changed the last name to this. I can change, you can do a whole lot to your website. Can you see that everything is coming up now? It's no longer looking no longer looking scattered like it used to. Everything is coming out looking really, really good. You can decide to reduce this image to be smaller. It mustn't be this big, it mustn't be this bold. You can make it as any way you want. I want to add a footer to this. Okay, I'll add a footer tag, and I will say footer. Here I want to do something, just a little trick, and you do that by pressing the and copy. It gives you options. I'll look for copy with semicolon. This gives you that C that you see, the copyright logo. Say all rights reserved, all rights reserved. Let's see what the footer looks like. Now it's just here looking like a normal text. You can always style it to be in the center. So I'll be going to style my footer here. Footer dot, I don't need to say the dot because you just have only one footer throughout the web page. Footer text align. You can have a lot of things in the footer. You can have where you add the links and the brands. So I'll say text align center first of all. This is just a simple website for you to have a hang of how you can work on your own website. I'll be giving it a background color of let me say the same basic and padding of 20 pixels, and then I'll give it a margin top of 30 pixels. Let's see. Okay, I don't want to use the base because it's becoming too much. It's becoming too much, so I can just use another shade of it. I'll use another shade of it. I'll just drag it a little bit down. I use another shade. Let's see how this looks. Okay, I think this is not bad. This is the footer, this is your section, this is the hero page, this is your navigation bar. Don't forget you've not added links, because links are meant to go in there, and these are the different pages. So we'll do something like this. This is what we'll do. We'll add the different pages. Brother, let's say dad.html. Okay, another one, mom.html. Good. You have brothers.html, and maybe if you want to add yourself, your me.html. And now at this point, what you have to do inside your HTML here is to link the names where they are meant to be. Now you have that. You now link your dad.html here in the A tag. You have mom. Okay, you have your mom.html. You have your brother, brothers.html. .html. I didn't create for sister. Let's do that. Sister.html. Okay. So you can now go back and you add the sister.html. Okay, .html. And then you, which is me.html. Now you have your links, but your links are empty. They can be clickable, but they are empty still. So if you click on mom, it's meant to take you here. Something is meant to be here, but then there's nothing there yet, which you add. Now let's go back. The first that is still empty. This is just the index page. So now to that page, let's look for something to add in there while you complete the rest yourself. Let me show you just what I mean. So since we already have a navigation bar, first of all, I will go and create the structure. That is how you create websites. You start everything afresh. You create the structure, but since I already have certain things here, I might not need to recreate. I can just decide to copy this, copy the one I had initially, Control A, Control C, go to that, paste it here, then get rid of what I don't need. Okay, let's say I don't want my main yet. I don't have anything I'm adding to the main. I still need my footer definitely because it's fixed. And my navigation bar is still necessary. It needs to be there. But then let's see if when I click on that, if it will take me to that page. So I am repeating it here because I know I'll be needing the nav and footer definitely. Why don't I need it in different pages? Now you can decide to now style it however you want. Add the div. Let's say you want your main to start here. We're done with the header. Inside here, you start doing your main section. Give it a div. Let's say now the div is this. I can decide to name it my second. Okay, that image. Just I'm giving it a name. It mustn't be like that image. I'm just using it. Okay, now this is it. I made a mistake here. I didn't use the class. I did not use the class, and that's wrong. So I'll paste it here. I'll continue, and I can just decide to add a box. Control C, go back here, and just down here, you can just decide to just make everything organized. You can see that this section is now for that, using comments, and then I'll paste A here, start with dots. I'll give it a background color of basic. I can decide to use another shade of basic, and let me make it something like this. Let's see. And the width, the height should be 400 pixels. I'm just trying to show you that this is the point where you do. Okay, I have not added anything here. Where is that page? That's where we should be working on now. Where is that? Okay, that image. My dad. Let's see if we are even getting the right name. And now I will increase. I've added a background color, but it's not reflecting. That means I did not target the right name. Oh, I did not even give it a proper class. I wrote D. So now let's see if it will change. Now it has increased in width. This is the part where you do anything you want to do with this. Now I have given you the basic structure. What you need to do now is to design it the way it should be. First of all, because I have my dad here, I want a home that will keep taking me back to my home. How do I do that? I don't want to keep seeing that. That shouldn't be the first thing. I want to have another li that will be what, yeah, that will have an a inside that will take me back to family.html. I don't have it yet. I will create it. Family. So let me create another file called family family dot no. What I'm adding in here is the index.html because I've not linked it anywhere. And I think I already have an index, don't I? Yes, I do. That's where I styled everything. The first one I styled is in the index. So I'm linking it to a page called family so that I can easily go back to my index. That is how you plan your website so that you can always go back so they know how to locate something else, locate another thing, and a lot. So now because I added it to just one page, it's not reflecting here. So I'll need to add it to the other one so that I can easily access it. So what I'll be copying now is just this first page here, this first line, Control C. I'll go to brother, I'll paste it. I'll go to dad. I've done that in that. Index.html, I have not done that. So I'll do that here. And me, you do that. Mom, you add it here. Sister, you add it here. So now it's now in your place to add images of your sister. You've seen how we created this website that looks beautiful. Now you can do the same thing with the other pages we have and add content here. Add your own content. I've showed you the way it should be, the way it should be structured. So now you should add your own content yourself. I just hope we got a lot of things from this class, because congratulations guys, congratulations, you are now website developers. Just try, do not stop practicing, okay? Do not stop practicing. You have your YouTube, you can always go back to these videos, all the videos that we did in this class for reference, for something you do not understand. So you can decide on your own that this is how you want your page to look, and then you bring it to life. I can also decide to add a button here, and that's perfect. I align it the way I want. Okay, so this is the end of our class, and it was nice doing this with you. I look forward to seeing your designs someday. Okay, have a nice time. Bye bye.